Hello. Yes, it just didn't transition there, so whoops.
Oh,
A professional.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we come onto this platform knowing what we're doing at all times, and we're always ready to go.
It's just,
We've only done 500 hours live.
no,
That's it.
exactly, yes. We've never once had a slip-up like that every week.
Absolutely not. What would Post Sanity be without some sort of technical difficulty? I mean,
Good.
It wouldn't be possible.
it wouldn't exist.
No.
It wouldn't exist. Well, what an interesting episode this was. We laughed, we cried, we got incredibly annoyed at how everybody tried to ruin my story. But
We enjoyed it.
I know
I
you
was
did.
never
I've
stressed at
been
any
on mute
point.
the whole time. Lol.
Oh.
Just you laughing. I just realized. Oh, jeez. Wow.
I'm
Hi,
glad.
everyone. Hi. Hi.
I'm glad we couldn't hear all the maniacal laughing. But yeah, what a crazy episode that was. And yeah, one of the more difficult to run, I would say, but most certainly one of
It said look pretty easy to me actually. Yeah.
No problems at all.
I think it was just straight standard tabletop shit.
Everything
I
went
know it-
exactly to plan.
thing-
It's-
I know it's bad when you guys start apologising for what you're doing.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
And you saying that you hate us.
I don't remember apologizing.
Oh no,
Oh yeah.
that was the one where
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Akers. This went far."
But as Baker Mars said in the chat, it was fun though, wasn't it?
Certainly,
It
fun.
really was.
Certainly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some really stupid but brilliant ideas came out of that, and yeah, it was great. I suppose we should talk about the first stupid but brilliant idea, which is the how do we put this?
Your introduction?
My lack of
Yeah.
introduction. Yeah. Should we say Julian departing and then a new character enters? Ben, what the hell?
Well, it was fun, wasn't it? I mean, do I need a reason?
Yes.
Come on, Julian has every time he causes a bit of trouble at the start, and I just thought, let's just fully go for it and just not let you talk at all because it's really funny.
It was great. There just wasn't even a beginning to it. It's just
No.
yeah.
I had to
Okay.
when I edited it. I had to put some waffle at the start. Otherwise, if we literally just started, then it was just starting with me just talking. So yeah. I don't know what to say apart from it was very fun.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Not getting kicked in the balls. Getting kicked in the balls. I wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
I should have been because.
I mean, should Virgil have told you in advance? Hey, by the way, sorry.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you probably made it worse because he's got a ship.
Mm.
Oh god, that was ridiculous. Do you know the thing about that was that I didn't realise the consequences until until we got
Neither
there.
had I.
And then I
I
realised
hadn't thought about it.
I got to a point where I was like, oh, I have to find a ship for you guys out of my arse somewhere. So,
I think you can see the moment where
Why is it there?
it hit, and we were like, "Oh no, wait a minute, is the ship still there?"
oh, that was very funny, very funny. But I did want to ask Ben about his character Barry.
Yeah,
What?
great guy.
Yeah, what inspired it, and were the burgers that you created meant to be poisonous?
No, the burgers were supposed to be amazing. He was supposed to be an amazing chef. They weren't supposed to poison people. And he
Doesn't own taste buds.
he's programmed. So he gets it perfect. I don't know what you're on about. They were perfect. They were perfect. I rolled perfect every time.
That's true, actually. You did
Virgil
roll
wouldn't
well
know,
every
he
time.
didn't touch him, so.
No, that's true.
No, he stays
Well,
so far away.
to be honest, it comes down to what accent can I do apart from posh English, and what haven't we done? An Australian hadn't been done, so I picked Australian and then thought, I want to be an android, and then I'll just make him the most Australian person ever.
Represent.
Yeah.
For all of our Australian viewers out there.
Hey, Dave.
That's okay, no, androids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like to take things to the extreme.
What? No, I hadn't
No.
noticed.
I know. I keep it subtle.
You do. You're good like that.
I have to say, I did
That's why
enjoy.
I've always done.
I did enjoy him being like. He's like the polar opposite of Julian in many respects.
That was
Very
intentional,
happy,
yes.
very like. He wants to give people a good time, have a burger. You know, it may poison people, but that's inconsequential. But yeah, it was a very different flavour.
Hmm.
Do you know what? I had played Julian for quite a while, and I was thinking, you know, time for a change.
It's a great
It's quite. It is fun playing Julian, but there is a part where I'm going, oh, what? Oh.
I suppose this is the nice thing about sort of, you know, we're keeping things fairly loose on the lasers and feelings side of things. So, you know, the occasional character introduction, you know, trying something a bit different, that's not a problem because I think it kind of fits in with the lasers and feelings side of things. A bit more difficult with D&D because you've got to, you know, basically creating a whole new character sheet, and I'm sure that'll eventually happen. But sorry, David. Yeah, with lasers and feelings, you can call me like 2 minutes beforehand and go, "Oh, by the way, new character," or
I think that's what I did.
pretty much, yeah. Although you didn't give me like any information, just that I might be introducing a new character. I was like, oh, okay, no worries. And then it happened immediately.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That there was literally nothing. I assumed that you were aware that you had a character sheet or something at least.
No, I don't think you even.
I didn't know what my role was.
Yeah, you didn't even tell me a
make
laser feelings or anything. Yeah, it just all decided on the fly, wasn't it?
Opposite of Julian, so a 2.
Yeah. That's really, yeah, that worked. It worked out though. Didn't it?
Wow.
Worked out very well.
That's a lot of fun.
So obviously you lost your pilot and decided that you needed a new one.
Better one.
A better one. So did a little bit of searching around the bar, and you did manage to find one. A fellow called Miles. And Josh, you
Didn't get past the interview.
no, he kind of fluffed it, didn't he, a bit, by rejecting you guys after being told maybe you should go back to your family and not come along with us.
I think I said it in the episode because there was always like as random as it is, we've always had kind of a formula with the lasers and feelings where we're like we'll muck around a bit at the beginning and take way too long in the introduction, then we'll kind of get on with it in some form, and then there'll be some really weird like thing that happens. We might kidnap an NPC or something, and then it was just like in that episode everything, it was all happening so quickly. I was just like, all the shit we usually do, let's just do it at the start, and we'll just because
Mixed it up. Yeah.
I genuinely, and you probably don't know this, I did come into the episode, I wrote a few notes of like, because I was like, it's probably time to mix it up a bit. I had no idea that Ben was about to just chuck the biggest spanner all the way through the works. I was like, well, never mind. But it was in my notes to be like, let's try and recruit Gary to like come on the adventure. I was like, because I was like, literally, let's do it the thing at the beginning. Obviously, there was just something in the air where we were like, this is the one where we mix it up.
Yep.
And then Miles came along, and I was just like, do you know what? I think that was literally just me yes-anding it to the nth degree and going.
Yeah, you were just trying to bring everyone. You're like, right, Barry, Miles, Gary, everyone.
Ken, do you want to come?
Yeah.
I like how Barry
Space
just
bar.
joined the crew. He didn't. How did Barry end up just joining them? He wasn't asked. He sort of just tagged along.
I think it was.
That's true.
That is true. I've never thought about that.
No, don't question it.
No, I wouldn't question. It's not worth questioning these things sometimes.
No, there's.
Just go. Just yes and carry on.
Yeah,
Finish,
exactly. Yeah.
Go along with it. Yeah.
There's a really interesting moment, which I suppose I can tell you now. There's nothing to it at all. But David, there's a moment after Dr. Walker gives the message over, and you take a moment to ask Barry who created him. And I don't think there's any link there at all. But even I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I, because I didn't have a proper answer.
No, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, Virgil definitely. I don't think he hates Barry as much as Julian. I think he's definitely like he trusts him as far as he can throw him, kind of thing. Like,
he weighs a lot.
because there is that, and it's not. The question wasn't really answered, and it's kind of like.
That's a little subplot there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe we'll find out, or maybe we won't.
Yeah. Well, there were
Maybe.
some lovely moments of things happening behind the scenes and little bits of subplot going on, and hopefully some of them will pay off. But there's all sorts of things coming out of this episode.
Please, just to completely start off the thing, please watch the next Lasers and Feelings for those exact reasons.
Oh,
It is
man.
the best.
That was an experience. That really was.
Just to bounce straight off that and plug it straight away. It's not for like 3 weeks or something. But
it's not for the faint-hearted. So
it's the best.
I have just been editing it. I just got to do a little bit more to it. But I sort of watched it through the other day. I was like, bloody hell, this is really good.
It's
the
the
thing is,
best.
I remember sitting at the table and thinking, have we taken this too far?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
My worry is we peaked.
Just bring it back a bit.
It's so good. It's so genuinely. This episode was a really good
pretty raw.
episode. Like Barry telling, I think there's a moment where I'm just sitting there going, "What the hell's going on in this episode?" Because I'm like, "What's the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
The next
Yeah.
episode is just everything just beautifully crests into a nice
Remember
Australian
Virgil,
surfing
just
way.
to, like sum up his emotions. He's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I here? Which is actually, to be honest, that's like every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But even more so, it was like ultimate stress levels. This was.
Oh,
This was like he was like, yeah, I'm not really fond of this, and that next episode is like, oh, we're above board now. So yeah.
The other thing I always remember from the next episode, and sorry, we'll get back to this one, but it is an absolute corker, is the double entendres. I mean,
It's so
it's
good.
so bad.
The whole episode's so
Anyway,
good.
we should probably finish
Sorry.
off with this
Sorry,
episode
Agus.
instead of going into the next. No, you're good, because it is that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind an early plug at all for that. So, yes, Dr. Walker manages to take hold of Nan for a moment and give over a message saying that he needs help. And first of all, nice idea with the light, Josh. I like that. Putting the light to your eye, and that's a good one. But also, the thing, by the way, I hadn't thought about this at all. The thing that you said, Josh, straight after it finished is when, now I want to go and see the other guy, the villain guy. And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. In my head. I have
do you know
nothing planned for that.
I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I won't. That's way too much, because that is literally a whole different. That's not just like having a casual visit to another planet or
That would've
two,
been funny, though.
or going surfing. That is a completely different episode that you'd have to improv on the spot. So I was like,
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'll leave that. But I mean, things just went so far off the rails beyond that it was like, it didn't really matter anyway. About 5 minutes later. So.
I will tell the ladies and gentlemen when we get to that point when we had a break, so that they can realise the moment where I started crapping myself and trying to come up with a slightly different or a much different story to what we were doing already. But yeah, so you were told to head to Dusty Reach. And yeah, this was the moment when you realised perhaps you should have gotten, perhaps you should have checked on the ship a little bit earlier than you had. But I wanted to hold you in some suspense, so I made you go to the shop first of all. And I'm really pleased you did, because you got to meet the other proprietor of the shop, Smith, who actually turns out he's a little bit like Barry. He just likes everyone and wants to get along with everyone. He doesn't cook burgers though. It's
it's quite gullible.
Yeah, because Griff is not meant to be like that. He's meant to be pretty, stony faced and pretty down the line. Don't mess with me, I won't mess with you, kind of thing. And I thought, well, how far the other way can we go with it? So yes, you're right. Yeah, basically, yeah. So yeah, he is a little more gullible, and a little more customer is always right, which we all know is completely untrue. So, but I mean, we started there, Josh, with a broken strip light. You might remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to, it's in the vein of I think this is something I had in my notes as well, because it's in the vein of like mixing it up a bit. It's funny. It's funny if I steal something always. It's funnier if I then return said stolen item and get a refund.
It was very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want to just if you keep rinsing the same joke over and over again, it gets boring, and then it's like, well, who cares? But like, you build on it, and then you do something different with it, and and that was like the best thing I could come up with. And then I bought something, and I think the thing that I bought, I literally was like, I didn't plan this. I didn't actually plan to buy anything, and I was like, this fucking probe. I don't know. That I just
that was funny. That worked out well.
That was me literally going, a probe, without really having any much of a plan. Well, no, there was kind of a plan.
You don't make plans.
There was kind of a plan. There was another thing that I wanted to do, which just never happened because of the events.
Yeah.
There was a Nan. Yeah, there was a Nan thing that I wanted to do, and then Nan was gone about 5 minutes later. So, It was just like, oh well, never mind.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, you got your refund somehow, despite not having a receipt.
For somehow 500 credits.
Yeah. It was very sturdy. Very sturdy light.
And how much did we hire the ship for? 300.
300, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
You try and work out what's the economy on that.
Yeah.
If a light is worth 500, but when we know it's a rip-off.
Yeah, because get the spreadsheets out, mate.
How much is if you're hiring a ship? That's like hiring a car for a day or something. That's like a few £100.
Probably more.
It was a very sturdy light.
Or a very shit ship.
Yeah, interchangeable.
Yeah, that is kind of a good point. It wasn't a particularly amazing ship. But we'll come to that in a moment, though, because I wanted to talk about a couple of other things.
Space equivalent of a pedalo.
Yeah. So first of all, I seem to remember some ice being involved. Barry, half a ton of ice.
I just said it.
Do you just say things and see if I go along with it now? Is that
I was like, what's ridiculous? Half a ton. Sure. How did it go? Did you ask me how much, or did I say half a ton?
I think you said
no,
it.
No, you said it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Okay.
So
I just came up with it. Yeah.
I assumed that like you had a little machine which ground it all down, but was it that, or was it you just put in the full cubes of ice?
I mean, it's not really bland out, so no, it just literally where the barbecue opens, it just goes straight down.
You would think the barbecue would be really hot and melt it all.
Well, I wasn't currently cooking. I was in intake mode, wasn't I?
That's how androids work.
Don't question it too much, all right?
He's a TARDIS boy, that's why.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, all right?
Yeah.
He's bloody massive, though.
He's just got like a black hole, dimensional portal in the middle of his whole body.
I think if I play him again,
like Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna say, can I have 10 tons? See how much I can get away with, and how much would I have to pay for 10 tons? Because half a ton was free.
That was blew my mind. Half a ton of ice. That's tons.
Yeah.
Well,
that is loads. Well,
I want to know
yeah.
what half a ton of ice looks like.
You really don't.
Big ton of ice.
I mean, I do want to know. It's probably.
It's a lot, isn't it? Because like water expands when it freezes, so it's more than like half a ton worth of just water in a tank. So it's You could.
I'm gonna Google it. This is what we used to do on the streams. Just Google shit. So I'm gonna do that.
I thought you were going to order it.
It's free. It's fine.
And the other thing, not main thing, sorry, but the other thing that Virgil got was a secret item. Very interesting. This is the first time we've had this.
I think it's his new bit. I think this is Virgil's. He's definitely going to kind of Tom and Jerry and Coyote and Roadrunner thing, and he's like obviously Tom and Coyote, where he's just thinking of different ways to like really just kind of like, because these two don't care about the jobs whatsoever. He's just trying to make a living. He's out of work because he's not with the space police anymore. He needs money, and these guys are getting away with that. He wants a peace and quiet as well. He doesn't need no Australian android cooking burgers and stinking up the ship. He doesn't need the like sociopathic, split personality android in the room because he doesn't know if he's gonna wake up one night with a knife in his throat. And then see his face there. But it's kind of like, he's gonna find different ways to like. I don't think his intention is to kill them. But his intention is definitely to incapacitate, so he can try and just crack on with the job.
Yeah.
So
it's a low bar.
It's getting towards murder. I think. I think he's slowly going.
You did try and push Julian off a roof once.
You just break a leg. It's fine. He doesn't need. If his legs, he's incapacitated. And we never. Yeah, and you can get that fixed quite easily, because, space and future and shit.
You know how Disney does What If? We could do that for What If Julian got pushed off? What happens?
Barry would just come in.
I feel like there's probably a really funny short film or something in that.
Oh, yeah.
Julian in Space Hospital.
Yeah.
Nurse.
Because, yes, sir, because you have fractured both your legs.
Bloody hell.
And
you can just imagine the first thing you're doing is like, right, well, I've got to get up. I need to go and pilot the ship.
That's going to cost 1 million credits.
Just walking on 2 fractured legs so you can go and pilot the ship.
To fly manual.
No.
Yeah. Oh, God. Brilliant.
Automatic for you,
Dave. So, we came to the point where it was decided that the Raptor was not in the hangar. Sir Julian had stolen it away. And do you know what? I thought about rolling for it. I think, Josh, even you said roll for it. I was like, what would Julian do here? And I was like, there's only one man that can answer. So it only felt right, and I'm glad that we got the answer we did.
I didn't answer. I had to channel my thoughts as Julian. And it didn't take much thought.
You went into the mind of Julian.
It's pretty obvious, really.
I would have been surprised if he hadn't. I would have been surprised if he hadn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have been like...
Yeah. Because he would have known somebody. Yeah, he would have known somebody would have had to fly this manual, and it wasn't him. So...
Remember, I don't go into light speed either, so I'm probably not that far away.
We could have looked outside the space station and there he was.
Yeah, he's just floating around. Yeah.
Oh no,
where's the ship? Oh, it's there.
Drinking pina coladas.
Yeah. Damn it, we can't do that now.
Do you know? What?
Imagine if we found him on the beach.
I genuinely do not know where he is.
Imagine he was on that same beach going, oh, ready out.
Oh, burger.
Yes, Ben. Please do play both characters simultaneously to each other.
Oh,
Super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
In disguise.
That would be so difficult.
Yes, can I have one of your burgers, please?
I was basically just DMing at that stage. Let me play my two NPCs together.
Yeah, I might as well just leave at that point. Let the characters do the work. So yeah, I had to create an entire section of you being able to hire out a ship. As you can imagine, I had absolutely nothing written for this, so it was all off the dome. And you met Jailer, who was able to rent you out the Annabelle, which is basically just a smaller version of the Raptor. For was it 300 credits? So it's less than the light. So yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Worked for us.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The economy is in a really bad place.
Yeah,
This is more expensive.
Hold on. We sort of skipped over a point here.
Go on.
At the point where you say, when I ask you where the nearest beach is.
I was coming to that because
that
is
before the ship, though.
Oh yeah, I suppose it was. Yeah, you mentioned it at the shop. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Do we have to talk about that? I mean, can we not just pretend everything went well? Just this one.
Went really well, to be fair.
So yes, you did mention it. You mentioned it at first to Smith, and obviously I have no idea. So I made up a place, and then later had to change the name. But yeah, it kind of made sense to me that there was going to be sort of like a world or a planet sort of close to Space Station Aurora. That's probably where it gets its supplies and stuff. So I thought, let's just make it this. And it also means you're kind of roughly in the same place if you decide to go there, which which you did. But yes, when I heard that, there were a few sort of alarm bells ringing. And I was sort of like, oh, now we're in trouble.
To be fair,
Not again.
I really didn't think you would say there is a beach. I was expecting to say there's no beach.
How can I not give you a beach? I mean, that just seems really harsh.
I had other plans.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh God. Oh good God.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Yeah. I'd feel bad if you asked for something simple and I'm just
Roll
like,
for beach.
yeah.
I mean,
you know what? I sometimes I would turn it into a roll, but if it's like, fairly simple, I feel a bit, hard done by personally.
I'm going to ask for way more stuff now.
That is a dangerous thing to say. That is a very dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, it is actually. And what I actually mean is, no, you're not allowed anything. To do the exact quest and nothing else.
The quest is on rails.
Sorry, GM.
I saw a mug the other day that says, "I'm the dungeon master. What I say goes." I need to get one of them.
Doesn't really apply to you, though, does it?
No, exactly. I'm the dungeon master. You do what you want, and I'll just
you
try
didn't
and
get an
fix it.
introduction.
No, I know.
That entire, I mean, let's be honest, that entire first half hour, 40 minutes, whatever it was, that was literally us just creating the most chaos ever.
Yeah.
And you sitting there going, sure, I guess.
Yeah.
It's our game now.
Had you kind of just given up at that stage and were like, yeah, sure, you can go to, yeah, sure, fuck off to the beach, I don't care.
I mean, I mentioned it to Ben afterwards that I really don't mind you guys going off and doing things, but I wouldn't mind if you occasionally had an idea of what you wanted to accomplish, because this one didn't seem to have an idea.
I did, and mine was to surf.
I think that is what got me, because I think it might even still be in the episode, or I just went midway through. I genuinely don't know how we're getting out of this.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? So obviously, I was like the only one that fucking went to do the mission. That was fucking perfect. Yeah.
Well done.
I think chat. See, because this is usually a thing. If chat wants to make Virgil a playlist for the
Oh,
Virgil's playlist.
when he has alone moments, yeah. When he's like,
When he has alone
just
moments.
chilling.
You know, like Star-Lord's kind of like Star-Lord thing when he's got his cassette thing. And
Yeah. I like
yeah.
it. I like it. Just mixtape. Brilliant.
Exactly.
I love Baker Me's put in the chat here. I'm the DM. What I say goes in one ear and out the other.
That's a fucking t-shirt right there.
yeah. That's brilliant. Copyright that quick.
Yeah, I know, right?
Patent. Yeah.
So yeah, this is where the headaches began. Well, continued. Yeah. As two of you decided to go off-piste, shall we say, and head down to Greenbury, got dropped off the ship quite literally, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. The fact I assumed it would be Virgil would just, plonk you down safely and take off. Nope.
The thing was, they asked like if they could be dropped off. I'm like, yeah, I'll drop you off.
So you need to say the exact words. You need to be right on with what you mean.
That's what I meant. I mean, it meant I could surf straight away.
That was brilliant, though. I mean, it gave me the wonderful chance to be able to let Nan hit his head, which is I'm always looking for now. I'm sure you are as well, Josh.
Yeah.
Always looking for those chances because I love the interaction between the characters. It's so good. So yeah, you got to hit your head, and
it did happen. It did happen, unfortunately, early because I could have got us out of there as Nan, but as soon as it changes to Rot has no idea what's going on. So then it's just like, well, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah. So I hadn't thought this through because Rot is kind of like a beach dude already, and they're at a beach.
Yeah.
I was just like,
because it did cross my mind because I knew in my head that I was like, okay, if I switch, we end up in a situation where I genuinely don't know how to get out of this. Like even in the previous episode where I went off on my own to another planet, I had an idea of how to leave that planet. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it's funny, but also I can get out. That one I was like, I've no idea. And then, but it's two surfer bros, man. Yeah. And then it's just perfect for like the Jeffrey thing to carry on, and then it was just Barry. I just couldn't not. So then I was like, well, oh dear.
Well, Barry becomes the new Jeffrey. Yeah, at least for now, anyway. So yeah, it was pretty much at that point. So I think Virgil's heading off with his playlist. You guys are sort of surfing around, and it was at that point that we decided to take a break. And I went and pulled out all of my hair. Trying to work out how the hell we were going to salvage this thing because it had gone so incredibly wrong, completely sideways from where I was expecting. We weren't even on the right fucking planet. I mean, it's not even like we were in a different town and I could do something about that. We weren't even in the right like section of the universe. It was just.
Well, do you know what? And the thing is, we were on the beach, not at a spaceport, so there was no obvious we'll go grab a ship or something, or like we'll go. It was literally just like
I don't know what we would have done if you hadn't have come up with that. I think there was a town, I think, but I think that would have taken quite a while.
All through that I was going like, how on earth do we turn this around and get back to vaguely on mission? Yeah, because they're just like, I made a joke about it being Ex Machina and like the gods coming in, but it was kind of needed because there was pretty much no other way because the setup was just wrong for it narratively. It was all the wrong people in all the wrong places with absolutely zero incentive to leave. Yeah, so it's
so like, true.
You kind of got to force it at that stage.
So yes, as you can imagine, I spent a good sort of 10 to 15 minutes trying to plan out what would get them to the right place. And the only thing I could really think of, apart from maybe a ship picking them up, was to try and use the tech from, I think it was the previous episode, which seemed to make some sense. It also kind of allows the plot to thicken because it is tech from a completely different race of people. So how have they got hold of it? That doesn't necessarily stray too far away from what I've been thinking. So I was quite happy to do that in the end, and it is quite neat. But before we sort of talk about what happened there, I did want to talk about what should have happened, and also Virgil also going into the town. So of course, Virgil, you arrive, and you have a look around. I think I even said it's too quiet, and I went full on over the top with sort of describing the place, which is funny because I think then you ended up cutting out some of the descriptions because I sort of listed out what the place was and everything like that. I think some of it might have been taken out, but there was quite a lot of things which didn't end up being used.
What was supposed to be at the junkyard?
Well,
Oh yeah.
so here's what was meant to happen. There was a clock tower, you might remember. Hi, Johnny Makes.
Hey, Johnny Makes.
No.
So there was a clock tower. It was 5 to 12. You're in the
Hey.
middle of a sandy, sort of deserty place. Tumbleweed going across the screen. Essentially, what I wanted to happen was a 3-on-3 Western shootout. That's what I was aiming towards. So I was sort of trying to. I thought, well, at least Virgil's here. We can do it with Virgil, and then I can bring these guys in later. And I thought, Virgil's probably the most westerny of the three as well, so that's cool. We can make that happen. But I wanted a little bit of dialogue before we got into that. So this is when, Virgil, you had that shot that just missed you, and you were able to go into the bar.
Yep. Sure.
Uh,
I was like, well, this is I'm writing a Yelp review. You gotta do this place and you get shot on sight. What's that about? Yeah.
But yeah, that
4
was
stars.
But the idea was you were meant to, if the three of you were there, you were meant to find out that you've got bounty hunters on your tail. Be there in a couple of minutes. You've got a chance to get yourself ready for a showdown. Was the idea. That didn't quite happen. So yeah, the decision was to bring the showdown to you guys, I think. And
So
that
was
is
the showdown supposed to be in the junkyard or something? What was the relevance of the junkyard?
the junkyard was one of about 7 places that I listed out. And the idea was that you could basically have a shootout in any of them. So I wasn't actually planning on the saloon being one of them. It was just meant to be a momentary, get out of the firing line before things start. And in actual fact, of course, it went completely wrong, and something totally the opposite happened, which is weird because that never happens to us.
Never every
But-
time.
No. So that kind of left us with 2 fights in 2 separate places. And I got to say, I really enjoyed running this one. It's very cinematic.
Mm,
Well, we did it on purpose. This
clearly.
was planned.
Of course.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
There's some lovely moments in this. I mean, Virgil. First of all, the moment of, like I said, I wanted a shootout. So the moment of me trying to, get you to go out the door. I think it was Stamp, the saloon owner, going, well, you should probably go out and face him man to man. Yeah.
Let the professionals do what they do. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, please.
I tell you what,
please.
on that note, give me a whiskey, okay?
Yeah.
And in fact, you know what, give me a couple bottles, and that was for later on.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny.
I feel like with Virgil, he's very different from what he's like when he's with the other two. I feel like, you know, he's kind of got this kind of bravado, this cockiness, but when he's with the other two, he's just kind of like ripping his hair out a bit. He definitely goes a bit more insane, like a bit more like just like definitely not himself. But yeah, when he's by himself, he's like, you know, he's like,
yeah, very chill,
living his best life.
Very, very living his best life with this mixtape. So, you know, he definitely is kind of a very, he's like a Western, like a cowboy Star-Lord. He really is.
Yeah.
He's definitely becoming more that character, like, yeah.
Brilliant. And of course, with the other two over on the beach, you know, you've got two bounty hunters coming, you know, up to you as well. And that sort of starts the fight. But again, there's some really great moments there. Like,
Hold on. Is one of the moments when you miss Barry?
What do you mean?
You have a shot of Barry and you miss.
Miss, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is ridiculous. In fact, I think everybody missed. Like, all the bad guys missed on the first round.
That's right.
Which is, I don't think I've ever had that before. So yeah, three bad dudes all miss.
It's very good.
Yeah.
What are their roles then? What do they have to roll?
So all the characters will be. They won't have a laser feeling number. So it'll be 1, 2, 3 is lasers, 4, 5, 6 is feelings, and I'll just work it out usually in my head which one feels right before I roll.
So technically, 4. Technically, that would be laser feelings 4.
No. So 1, 2, 3 for lasers, 4, 5, 6 for feelings. There's no. The thing is, I don't need a laser feelings for them. So they don't have that. They just have a, you know,
that is
basically. I was just going to say, basically, the bottom half of the dice is lasers. The top half is feelings for them.
Okay. That is interesting.
Yeah. So yes, you're right. Everybody being missed on the first round. I was particularly going to mention Barry trying to talk to the one of the bounty hunters.
Well, the thing is, Barry doesn't fight unless he's been hurt or his barbecue's been hurt.
Was it the timer? I think it was the timer got hit, and that's when you went complete psycho and started attacking.
I mean, come on, he's Australian, and you've hit his timer for his barbecue. I mean,
that's true.
Hey, mate, don't damage the barbie, all right?
Barbecue rage.
And then, of course, Rot grabbing the grill and then running around at somebody with the grill in hand.
Well,
great.
That was just
that's so good.
Because I always love those like old like spoofy movies like Police Academy and like that kind of thing, and it's always about what's going on deep background. Like you can have two people having a conversation, and then just the most stupid thing is happening behind them, and that was like we're doing that. It's too good, and also because you know again it's the Jeffrey complex of like he's found his new Jeffrey, and he must be defended. And also he is a psychopath.
Yeah.
That is so on point. That moment was for Rot. I was like, yup. This moment is everything for Rot.
That was great.
It's so good.
And of course, Virgil, over in the bar, the fact that the guy opens the door and immediately misses you, and you're just like, I'm just sitting still. I'm not even moving. You know?
I'm not even moving, man. What is this?
And
at least make it difficult. Wait, what's going on?
Was it you that was trying to do Molotov cocktails as well?
Yeah. I think I missed the Molotov. To be fair.
Yeah.
I was just talking shit, and then I was just like, oh, that's awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the point where I sort of decided we need to, start to move things towards everybody linking up again. So I sort of mentioned during one of those misses that one of the baddies flickers between the two locations. I thought that would give you a good, sense of where this was going, but also, I didn't want to just say, and this happens. I wanted to be, give it a little bit of build up so you could see where it was going. And of course, that's pretty much what happened in the next turn, because Rot goes completely insane and starts running after the guy one of the teleporter watches on, and just starts beating the living hell out of him.
Yeah, obviously.
Very, very on character.
Very on character. I mean, that is his thing. He's like spaced out, and then he just mauls people.
And it's, of course,
he's
to...
he's like some sort of like big cat on drugs, Like Tony the Tiger accidentally ate some magic mushrooms, There, coming for you.
Oh gosh,
it's Tony the Tiger on Ket.
I mean, you want to see it, but you don't.
That's Rot. There you are.
And this, of course, leads to you all getting back to, being back in the same place, all being on Dusty Reach, and Virgil tearing his hair out again because, unfortunately, he just can't get rid of them.
Thank you, Baker Me.
Yeah.
He's apparently South African.
Yeah, I remember just going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that happened.
It was just
well, not me, Virgil.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just like, it was a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Never meant to last.
You should know all fairy tales have a bad ending.
Well, Julian did that.
No, that's right. Oh,
that
would have been a nightmare.
Yeah,
that would have been just like,
why? Why didn't that happen?
That would have been
Where's
funny.
the chef? Where's the chef?
The one bar in all of space, and it's Julian is there. And so the fight ends. You guys did incredibly well. I feel like there was only one or two shots actually hit in the end. So yeah, it obviously went very well for you guys. And then Virgil pretty much immediately starts sprinting out of the bar, realizing that Rot has returned to cause more melon head problems.
Yeah, wasn't I say, hey, Nan? And he's like, no, it's not Aaron. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I see what he can do.
And then, so I like how it leaves two of you in the bar, and instead of being normal people, Barry makes the decision that what he wants to do is pick up Rot like a baby and put him in the grill, and then just walk along with him like he's in a little baby bouncer at the front.
Do you know, I'd completely forgotten that. I completely forgotten that when I played back the episode, because I just had a small tech check just to make sure it was playing properly, and then I came up and I was in tears of laughter. Like, I completely forgot that was a thing.
That's so good.
God.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Jeez.
Oh gosh, yeah, I can't do anything with you guys. It's brilliant.
It's the benefit of having a new character, because you would never have had that moment with Julie. Obviously, it would have been a very different dynamic.
Yeah.
But very funny, very funny.
What I really like about that is, despite the fact that you all know where you should be going next, which is the cave, you still decide that you want to do some more surfing. So
I'd already done real surfing, and now I want to do some sand surfing.
Oh no!
I mean, it worked out incredibly well, because you did come across another one of the bounty hunters, and we're able to
just by pure chance.
Them. Well, I wanted to. They were going to be there either way, and it was going to be basically used to foreshadow what was to come. But instead of maybe talking to him and saying, "Oh no, what's coming? What's the problem?" You just went and knocked him the fuck out. So yeah, the double punch. That was really good.
Funny.
Yeah, that's great. And that's and then seeing as it wasn't enough foreshadowing, I decided that we should also have Virgil and Dr. Walker also running to try and get away from the mechanical boar. Now, David, would you like to explain why I decided to bring the mechanical boar into this situation?
Yes. So, I mean, at this point, I believe you have already said that I wanted a particular something from the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So that particular something was an EMP mine. Yeah. So I went. Well, the funny thing is, it was set, and it was meant for others, and they bypassed it without triggering it. I was like, obviously I'm not there, but metagaming, I was like, God damn it! But then because I think, he definitely had that moment where we saw him, he just went, totally. And then we went back out, and I reset it, I think, wasn't it? But yeah, I think I definitely had bigger problems at that particular time. Yeah. And then I remember saying the professor was like, "It's coming." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Oh gosh. Well, yeah. I mean, that was an interesting move because of the mine being there. It was kind of like a what do they call it? What's the gun? Chekhov's gun, is it? But the thing is most you two had no idea about it, so it was a Chekhov's gun that people weren't aware of as well. So
we had an inkling.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have known, that it was going to be an EMP mine or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. And of course, the fight itself starts. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah, sorry, I was going to say about the mechanical boar. So the reason that I decided to go with a boar, it was always going to be a mechanical something, and originally it was actually a saber-toothed tiger. But so David does some gaming on his personal Twitch account, and I quite enjoyed one in particular where he had problems killing a boar about 70 times, and he died every single time, and it was bloody hilarious. So I was like, I'm going to change this character.
So what was
I'm going to change this character just to annoy him, so that he's got another boar to fight. So,
what was it before? What was it before it was a boar?
Probably it was going to be a saber-tooth.
Oh, right, okay.
Thinking. So, something, similar-ish. But yeah, I had a few ideas. I was going to do, a few different things, but I went with the boar in the end.
I believe it. Oh, jeez.
And there were some good moments in this fight. I mean,
it wasn't boring.
Ooh. So
sorry, people unsubscribe.
We might as well just leave now. I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah, just cut the stream now. Sorry.
So yeah, we came to the fight itself. Some really good sort of action beats, I think. First of all, I like the fact that Barry tried not to get too involved, went into the cave. That's quite a cool idea because you found that tablet and stuff like that. That's you can imagine. I hadn't really thought anyone would go to the cave, so all sort of made up again. It's like I basically had to make up the entire thing, which I did.
No, I wonder why.
I would like to.
But that was a really cool idea because you probably, depending on your roles, would have been able to take control of it. Josh, of course, you're able to, Rot is able to jump onto the boar, and I think it was Dr. Walker that actually knocks a panel off to allow you to get access. to it, so you were able to control it. And then we come to that rather big moment of the Chekhov's gun, as I mentioned earlier, the EMP mine that had been set. And there is a wonderful moment where two of us know what's about to happen, two of us don't, and I can see the little twinkle in David's eyes. I'm beginning to ramp up to it, and he's going, yeah, literally. I can imagine in your head right now, you're like, yes.
Like the little chime monkey, like ding.
Yeah.
From the Mexico.
And Josh, I know you mentioned this afterwards, that you said you just wanted to find out what it was, so you just ran straight at it, which is great.
I was metagaming a little bit with that move.
That is a very rot thing to do.
Yeah, I felt it fit, really, that's what would happen, is that he would run in. I was assuming it was some sort
hard
of bomb.
to avoid.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you were like riding a humongous mechanical boar.
It was one of those things, it just
on the
made
return,
sense.
there's no way you could have avoided it.
It was one of those things where I go, I was metagaming a bit, because I was like, narratively, it makes the most sense that that's what would happen. I'll let it play out on the dice, because it's basically as soon as Virgil went and stood over it, that's when I decided that's what I wanted to do. It was way earlier, and like all my moves were to try and get to that moment, just because I was like, that it made story, basically. So I was like, I'll do that.
It's so interesting as well that it was basically a game of chicken, where Virgil just stands still and lets you come at him. That's so good. And then, of course, the EMP mine itself. So I thought I'd have to give you some chance of trying to dodge it. I have honestly no idea for Rot how he would be able to not be hit by it, but I thought it'd be very unfair just to say it happened. So I think I did give you a saving throw. But
actually, I think you gave me
is it disadvantage?
No, with
no, I think it was disadvantage.
Right,
yeah. I think it's the first time we ever did a disadvantage roll, because I've given a couple of advantages before, but
it was feelings with disadvantage.
That's
and
right.
But still, because my feelings is 2, that was like almost guaranteed success. Still immediately rolled 1.
Yeah, of course.
It was my first roll, so even if it had just been a normal roll, I still would have lost.
Yeah,
but still,
oh gosh,
perfect.
Yeah, yes, it was, and it paved the way for something better, because of course, from that moment you get Rot and. You get the boar onto the ship, and you return back to Space Station Aurora, and there is a surprise moment that awaits us from Josh.
Where I literally surprised you with that, because I was like, I had been thinking, it had been in my mind for some time. I didn't intend to do it within that episode. It's just that circumstantially. What you would imagine for an electronic person is a very hard reset as a trigger to bring out the actual Jeffrey would be it just made story. It made sense, and I think it was in my mind as part of like the whole like running Rot into the bomb, because I assumed that I was just going to get detonated into the sky, I think. And I was like, well, that would be a big enough thing to do. EMP worked even better. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I had it, when I got it, I had androids in mind. So that's...
Obviously.
I mean, when
you did have 2 androids.
There you go.
But at the same time, I'm not trying to kill you. If I wanted to, like, EMP would just, knock out your circuit. You could turn back on. If I went for something explosive, you ain't coming back.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think that's the thing with androids.
Yeah,
though.
I thought that was pretty cool. That was a cool point, to bring Jeffrey out. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That's pretty awesome.
It was one of those, and they do happen a lot in the next episode. Watch the next episode, where stuff just decides to line up for whatever reason. As much as it's interesting because we had the whole thing of it going completely dissonant and broken in the first half, where I was like, I have no idea what to do with this, to where it all just kind of went and all just kind of lined up nicely to have that moment where Jeffrey comes out, which I'd been thinking about for a while. I knew because I'd known in my head that Jeffrey was just another one of the personalities, and that's why Rot is obsessed with Jeffrey, is because it's another version of himself. Because I think that's just an interesting kind of personality thing. And it just all went, yeah, this is going to happen now, and it was perfect.
Do you know what's so funny is a few weeks ago, I think it was for the third Lasers and Feelings, Kyle joined us because he was in that episode, and he said, he said to me, I think, don't let Josh have more than 2 characters because you know he's going to try to. And we'd already filmed episode 4, so I was sat there going, no, you definitely can't do that. No, knowing in my head that you have done exactly that to me. You're right. It's a perfect moment to end on. But
once he did 3.
Yeah.
Or is there more?
Oh,
he's gonna do a whole like James McAvoy split thing. It was.
That is basically what I think even originally that's kind of what I was going for James McAvoy split, just having just like 1,000,001 personalities. That they've been less in conflict with it. I think we tried that in the first episode where they're actually talking to each other, like Rot and Nan were talking to each other, and after that I was like, nah, it's a lot of admin.
Yeah.
Let's just have one or the other.
I'm loving in the chat. There's a lot of all hail Jeffrey.
Oh yes.
And I promise you that is for a good reason for the next episode. I can tell you that. So I think that is it for this episode. Unless anybody's got anything else.
I was going to ask you. Actually, I thought this question a little bit earlier, but I thought I'll save it to the end. How much of that episode was improv?
So obviously all the stuff at the bar had to be improved. I knew who would be, at the shop, so the shop stuff wasn't so bad until you started asking about the beach. No ship meant I had to create an entire rental service. I created a new planet for you.
The second episode in a row.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I had to completely scrap my idea of the fight and come up with a new one in sort of like a 10 to 15 minute break that we had. The last bit actually wasn't too bad. The boar fight was pretty close, except for, of course, the EMP mine, which, I couldn't have even begun to have thought of. So, probably a good 80% of it was like using little bits here and there, but most of it was just made up on the spot.
Sorry, Akers.
It was pretty tough. But I tell you what, it was the first half. I will say, and I think I mentioned it to you at the time. I found really tough, but when we hit our stride in the second half, when we started the fights, and I realised, hold on, I see where this is going now, and I've got this, and I can steer it back on course. That was when I actually really started enjoying it, and it was the moment where it's clicked the most for me so far. And perhaps we'll see more of that in the next Lasers and Feelings episode.
I have to say, I really agree. Like, I feel like we found our rhythm so well. I think during the course of the episode and then into the next one, it was just like clicking really nicely.
Yeah.
It's because Julian wasn't there. Must be that.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's possible, but I think also it's just a like we'd done enough episodes at that stage that we were kind of just comfortable, like just chucking shit at the wall and seeing where it stuck.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is lots more Barry.
I think as well, like the yes and thing, right? Because Julian was very no. As a character, he's like no, I'm not doing that.
It was interesting to have.
Excuse me.
The different dynamic was interesting. And I think, I mean, it's difficult because, again, like, obviously, going into the next episode, I have a different character as well that I'd never played. So there was lots of different characters. Yeah. And I think, maybe it was just fresher because we had new characters and stuff. But I want to give us some credit as well of being like, we'd got better at that stage. And
I agree.
Because, like, we're still relatively new to this whole arc, and I felt like we kind of warmed up.
I think it's that we can all trust each other to not only come up with sort of fun and interesting ways of doing things, but also having the sort of link up with everybody else as well at the same time. Because it's all well and good a DM's got a plan, but the fun is usually the deviation from that plan.
100%.
And I think if you just toe the line all the time, it's just not quite as fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. Please don't make me create a planet every time. But I have.
Okay, we'll just do moons.
Another space station, anyone?
Yeah, I have story concepts and ideas, and I've got a fair few that I want to run through, but there would be nowhere near as fun if we played everything straight and down the line.
Yeah.
I think the reason that this works so well and what we have is so much fun to watch is because we joke about with it. We make silly things happen that probably shouldn't, and for me that is the reason that I love running it and I love being a part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, we love annoying you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to say, on that note, perhaps we should have a little look at the episode coming up next week, which is D&D.
D4.
So I'm gonna watch this.
I haven't seen this.
Okay.
Oh, everyone's tuning in. It's not the longest trailer.
So
Deafening you all.
this episode is an interesting one. Definitely has a strange start, doesn't it? And then it sort of it kind of takes off from there a bit. Oh, excuse me, Jesus. And I know, right? How rude.
You.
You mean Jennifer.
But yes, it is a very interesting and what's the best way to put this? Maybe not everything goes our way is probably the best way I can put this.
Pushing it rather lightly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, we have a trailer for you. So, Josh, do you happen to have that ready?
I'm just waiting to see if there's any moths up
I'm
here.
excited.
Alrighty.
All right, folks.
Where's that moth?
Where is the moth? God damn it. Okay, here we go. Here's the trailer for next week's D&D episode 4.
Who's the most drunk?
Who's the most drunk?
Don't say me. I worry about me.
I worry about you for you.
I'm gonna drop disguise self. Okay. I'm gonna cast disguise self. Well, I think it's pretty obvious what we need to do. But what's that? I don't know.
I walk up to the child and I immediately stab him.
I am the tallest gnome in the world.
The two of us are there going, how's he done that?
And you see him like, yeah.
There's lots of rolling. There's lots of rolling. You killed someone.
This day will go down in history as day 3 of this expedition.
There we go. Short and sweet.
Oh man, I love that trailer. The ending to that trailer, I'm incredibly proud of. You're right though. Yeah, short and sweet. Don't want to give away too much. There's a lot going on.
It's good fun. It's another crazy one.
Another crazy one.
Oh, love it. Love it. I laughed it.
Yeah,
man. Jeez.
it's so good.
Oh no.
I distinctly remember doing that and going, this day will go down as, what the fuck does this game look as? Day 3.
Oh god, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh, man.
Is there much we can give away? I mean, I suppose we can say that there's a birthday party.
Well, do you have the name?
No.
You want the name? I mean,
As
for
is
goodness
tradition.
sake, you ask for so much.
Yes,
But
such is my.
I
wont.
shall give it to you. Don't you worry. This episode is called, and it was named by David. So well done for coming up with it. Yes, because I was really struggling, and then David hit one out of park by calling it
Yeah.
"Don't Drink and Quest."
Love it.
Which
Nice.
perfectly encapsulates this episode
Certainly.
in more than
Yeah,
one
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't drink and quest, guys.
Oh yes, yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's too much we can give away. But that title probably kind of says most of it, to be honest.
It says things.
Yes. In a nutshell.
So, on that note, is there anything else anyone would like to add before we bring proceedings to a close?
Do you want a burger?
Oh my god.
No.
No. Do you know what? I don't think anyone is ever going to want a burger again.
Well, well,
Maybe a proper one.
a proper one. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's worth saying, like, I'm working on a different kind of one-shot.
Well, there'll be a lot of stuff next year. That's
Yes.
New stuff.
Yeah, we're
Burger
really.
emoji. Yes.
Oh yes.
Well
Yeah,
done,
we're really putting in a lot of thought as to what will happen next year, which I know is crazy because it's still 3 months away. But we try to film sort of
coming up fast.
I know, but the thing is, we try to film sort of a month or two ahead, give ourselves time to sort of do some editing and a bit of work on different things. So of course, for us, end of year is actually not too far away because we're a bit further ahead. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting with all that coming up. But for now, I'm really looking forward to this episode coming out, and I hope that everybody enjoys it. So yeah, if there's nothing else, shall we bid you adieu? Brilliant. All right, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.